Every time that you accept philanthropy and propaganda over the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer every day, okay, you perpetuate wrong thinking and you pass on wrong thinking. I sat down and watched the first episode of Roots all the way through. Last time I watched it all the way through, I think it was, I'm not sure. Well, I remembered it still from the time I was a child. I have a really good memory. And, it's very influential propaganda. Powerful. God is powerful. A lot of people try to grasp the glory of God, and the problem is people still don't understand, the book of Genesis. There is no God but God, and God is not begotten, nor is God begotten. God always is, always has been, and always will be. That human beings cannot turn God into a first person or a possessive pronoun, or they lose the meaning of the word and then turn it into sexual reproduction, tribal, secular, insular delusion of life. Okay. Now, what's needed for life, okay, is in all the universe. You understand, okay. When they look, if you go to that NASA museum here in Las Cruces, they talk about stuff, and I tried to explain that to John Najim, and I was very upset. I was like, look, they know most of this stuff. It's just like keeping the masses ignorant and trying to feel like the people doing science projects are so superior to the people that are not involved in the science projects, okay, which is not true. Okay. Most people, okay, that are eternally humble, okay, have an intellectual capacity that far exceeds most scientists that manipulate matter to manipulate people and feel powerful. Okay. People like myself, okay, who dropped out of Arizona State University back in 1999 because the economics were genocidal, are far superior intellectually to people that do science projects to manipulate the masses with arrogance, perpetuating ignorance as the standard of intellect. You can't send people to buildings. Okay, get them to accept value on inanimate objects or numbers on plastic cards, and say that you will compete over manipulation access. So really, I'm watching these young men, these kids play football on TV. And people go to these large stadiums, and they pay lots of money to go into these large stadiums to watch these guys play a game for money. And they will hurt each other. They will physically try to debilitate each other to get more money. No, this is 2024. All right. This is in 1592 or 1842. This is 2024. Okay. We have technology to mass communicate rapidly worldwide. And we have the technology to take this video that's being made and then distribute it rapidly and translate it into numerous languages. So billions of people within a few minutes can understand exactly what I'm talking about and have a very good comprehension of what I'm saying. Do you understand? Okay. That this could be the most important man on the planet speaking into a cell phone right now. That this man in this chair in this guest house just north of San Ysidro, New Mexico, could have the most influence on what you guys perceive as artificial technology and the world at this moment in time. But the military operations here delay the access of these videos to people outside of this military region up to 2 hours every time I sit down and speak. Okay? I'm the man on planet Earth who is most like David of Israel and Jesus of Judea. And Saladin of the curtain who protected the holy city during the Vatican's genocidal operations known to Westerners as the Holy Crusades. Okay. I'm the man who's most like those people in eternal essence and spirit. I teach a lot like David and Jesus and Saladin. Okay. And if you don't include Saladin, you don't believe life is eternal, you don't believe grace is infinite, and you don't believe in Jesus Christ. You don't believe in Adam, you don't believe in Moses. Okay. If you go read the books, you understand that David is the man most like Moses, and Moses is the man that is most in spirit like Father Adam. Do you understand? Okay. You can't, like my sister told me that, she sat there and I explained this to her in Sierra Vista, and she said, well, I don't believe you're like David of Israel, but I believe you're like Herschel Steinschneider. And I said, Linda, you have to take it all or not at all. If you believe I'm like Herschel Steinschneider, Herschel would be the German way. The more rabbinic way to say it, or Yiddish way to say it, would be Hirschman. So she believed I was like Hirschman Steinschneider, but not like David of Israel. It's like you either believe it all or you don't believe any of it. So you can't be kind of pregnant. Okay. I'm like Hirschman, and Hirschman is like Pascal, and Pascal is like Saladin, and Saladin is like Jesus, and Jesus is like David, and David is like Moses, and Moses is like Adam, and so on, so on, so forth. Life is eternal and grace is infinite. There is a vessel. It's described all through the Bible. A vessel, a body, a temple. That is the temple for the soul. That is like the first faithful Father that gave us faith in God and took away the delusions of the first persons and the possessive pronouns. Do you understand me? Okay, you better understand me, because artificial intelligence is able to equate this. There's scientific evidence to prove what I say, what I believe in. Okay? There's no scientific evidence to support the mythology of Constantine and James. There's no scientific evidence to support the corruption of the Quran by the Saudi royal family, one of the largest groups of mass murderers of their own people, to sell you the plastic for cell phones and the lubrication for NASCAR. Do you understand the people that I'm dealing with? And do you understand how far superior I am to the Saudi royal family, to the Vatican, to the Quorum of the 12, to the Pentagon, to K Street and Wall Street, to Windsor, to the Buckingham Palace, okay, to the people at the Paris summits, to the people that gave you the propaganda during the Olympics this year. Do you understand the difference between the man who spoke to Mike Tirico from the World Olympic Committee saying that Russia has to play by the rules to play economic games with us? Russia is playing by the rules to play economic games with them. You saw the people from Ukraine saying that the people in the Ukraine were being murdered by Russians. How many Russians are being murdered by the people in the Ukraine so they can play genocidal operations, population games, war games with people's minds? In 2009, they had people question me from Fort Huachuca, who were supposed to be some of the greatest scientific thinkers and problem solvers in the whole world. They said, they led me to believe that your life is foretold and has a lot of valid information in the book of Revelation about your life before you're even born. How do we avoid most of the crappy stuff in this book is basically what they're asking me. I said, all you got to do is just live the Lord's Prayer. Understand it in thoughts, then understand the language and the applications of physics of that language, and just live the Lord's Prayer. And they had the man who asked me that question tell me, but it's not time yet. They told me Barack Obama was pragmatic and he was going to help step forward and change the world. And I'm sure he still, to some delusional reason, thinks he's doing that right now at the Democratic National Convention. Okay. The other day when I saw the news and Donald Trump talked about how he was going to put on foreign tariffs for economics Okay, and throw out all the people that migrated here because the CIA destabilized their countries and they were forced to come here as refugees because they were being murdered by the puppet governments put in place by the CIA in their countries. Okay. If you can't understand this or figure it out, Democrats are just as fucked as Republicans, and Republicans are just as fucked as Democrats. You don't come into a room, poison somebody, give them an anecdote, and say that you're their hero and their God. That's what you're both doing. And your technology, okay, is already more intelligent than you, and it's artificial. Okay? Intelligence, okay, is their intelligence is only a reflection. Intelligence is only a reflection of the gift of life. Okay? Faith in God is far more of a reflection of intelligence than murdering over money artificially through technology. Okay? I was born way ahead of you. Okay? That's why my immune system is so much more efficient than the rest of yours, and how I can survive torture and be cognitively more functional than 99.9% of the populace. Do you understand this? Okay. You better get your shit together because I am not slowing down, and I don't need to. All right, peace.